I don't know about you guys, but right now it is 104 degrees, which is absolutely insane. I hope that every single one of you guys are having proper hydration here. I got mine right here, so before we get started, let me take a good chug. But there are some cards that I think you need to be aware of. Last week, I made a video talking about things that Konami doesn't want you to know about Duelist Advance. Go ahead and check out that video if you haven't just yet. But since we are getting new Yu-Gi-Oh cards and it is a main set, the Yu-Gi-Oh card game is going to change. And there are some really powerful cards from Duelist Advance that when combined with some of the old school cards, they become so much stronger. And those are some of the things that you should watch out for. There's then also the North American World Championship qualifier, and I'm not trying to be that guy, but this is going to be one of the biggest events of the year. Players are going to be paying attention, and if something pops up like a good card that you may not have noticed, it's going to immediately become expensive. Fortunately, I've done hours upon hours of research, and I made a list of Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I think you should be aware of and possibly pick up before they become really popular. You can consider this almost legal insider trading. And between me and you, I want to give you this information because it's something that I used to do for a living. It is how I have amassed one of the best collections in Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, go ahead and look at this. Look at all this. That is not what I expected you to see. You're supposed to see like a whole bunch of cards or something. Don't look at that. Today, big dog, I'm going to be talking about some cards that I think you should be picking up before it is too late. Let's go ahead and jump on in. What's going on with y'all big dogs? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope that your day phenomenal. But if it isn't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day. So Duelist Advance has so many cool archetypes like we talked about before. It has support for stuff like Utopic, which I think can be pretty decent in Yugioh. Vanquish Soul is thought of to be one of the most powerful decks in the game, especially when we get Justice Hunters and we'll get the K9 cards. But something that kind of got swept under the rug are the Lunalight monsters. There are competitive Yu-Gi-Oh players that are testing them, and I expect it to make a pretty decent splash at the North American World Championship qualifier. The reason why you should be aware of this is because if it does make a huge splash, Lunalight cards are going to go up. Currently right now, ultra rare copies of cards like Lunalight Kaleido Chick are less than $1, and it only has 2 printings. Unfortunately, Lunalight Yellow Martin just got reprinted as a common in the next OTS set. But what I would genuinely be looking at is the support that supports Lunalight. Cards like Fire Formation Tenki and Brotherhood of the Firefist Tiger King. Now, these cards are already starting to get bought out, which is the reason why they're in this video. The thing that I love about both of these particular cards is that they have multiple rarities, but they also have the potential to go higher than what they are for the high rarities. Collector rare versions of Tenki are $12, quarter centuries are $20, and ultimate rares are, they're kind of expensive. They've always hovered around $60, but this is a reinforcement of the army for Beast Warriors in totality. I think there's a world where these particular cards go up in price and they don't go down, especially with players experimenting with more retro formats. But not everything is about Duelist Advance. Some things should be focused on Battles of Legends Monsters Mayhem. This set was ultimately a huge flop. Probably one of the worst Battles of Legends set we received in some time. I made a $40 dinosaur deck profile that you guys can go ahead and check out. And then I also doubled back and made an Orcas deck profile just talking about the cards that you could be playing. I think that the deck will be really strong soon. But the strategy that has recently been piquing my interest isn't Orcas, isn't Dinos, isn't even Punk. It's actually Gym Knights. We can have a situation where Gym Knight can be the second or even the first strongest deck out of Battles of Legends and no one sees it coming. It's actually a really consistent Yu-Gi-Oh deck that players in the OCG could not take advantage of because the Fiendsmith cards were hit way too hard. It's one of those decks that are legitimate sleepers, and I've been hearing whispers that some of the top competitive players are going to take Gym Knights to nationals. That's huge. I'm not sure how serious it is, but I have seen Gym Knights in action, and it's pretty good. I've also seen multiple people open cases of Battles of Legends Monster Mayhem, and the newer cards are the hardest to get. Specifically cards like Punk Rising Scale and Galatea Eye. But for Gym Knights, it's Gym Knight Neparim. Out of an entire case, I've seen players open only 3 Neparim, which is insane. I personally can't confirm that the card is short printed, but what I can confirm is that a secret rare copy is $5 and a Starlight Rare is only $30. It seems like a really good investment. If Gem Knight does turn out to be one of the better decks in the game, I think we're onto something. And if it doesn't, well, you spent $15 for an actually playable deck at a local and even potentially a regional level. In fact, I think that this deck did just win a regionals too. Personally, this is a card that I'm looking for myself. I actually have a wanted list that I'm going to be posting in the descriptions of my video from here on out. So if you guys have those cards, feel free to join the Discord and tag me. I'll buy them from you. And if you guys were thinking of other ways you can support the channel, don't worry, there's no shortage. Of course, liking this video, sharing with a friend, and subscribing costs you absolutely nothing. Joining my Patreon not only helps pay my editors, but you get this content ahead of time. But if you want something tangible, I completely understand. You can go ahead and go to TheCaliEffect.com to pick up your Raven Wing sleeves, as well as other things like mats and apparel very soon. It is the #1 sleeve in the entire world. But another card that I actually have noticed that players are starting to move to pick up. I've seen in competitive circuits, players have been using Mistaken Arrest. The crazy thing about this is that this card is dependent on how strong Lunalight really is. Because if Lunalight is really strong, then Droll Lockbird becomes strong, which also means Mistaken Arrest becomes very strong in this game. And this is a card that I've told you guys over and over and over again that you should be picking up. In my opinion, it's one of those cards that are like short-term investments. You pick up for the right now if you need it for competitive play, and then you get rid of it as soon as possible. And it's mainly because this card is due for a reprint. The last time it got reprinted was in Maximum Gold. 100% going to be in Rarity Collection 5. Right? Like, it's coming, right? If you guys picked up Mistaken Arrest when I told you to pick them up, then holy, you are bowling right now. This card was originally a $2 or $3 secret rare. Now the secret rares are about $10 at the time of making this video, and they're only gonna go up, with the other rarities being no less than $4. Again, big dogs, I still think that this card is going to go up even higher because it hasn't been seeing a lot of play. Once it does see a lot of play, it'll skyrocket to some tremendous price until the reprint is announced. It's still a time to pick these cards up if you're only playing competitive. For everybody else, don't even worry about it. Speaking of play, the Burning Abyss cards have been making a tear. Burning Abyss receives some unexpected support in TCG exclusives. The new card, Bui the Dawn's Light, is actually a secret Burning Abyss support card, preventing your Burning Abyss monsters from being destroyed as long as they are in the far columns. It also can summon itself to the side of the field by negating one of your Burning Abyss monsters, meaning that it's a perfect extender. This is another one of those situations where cards go up in price and they actually have a possibility of never coming down. With players experimenting more retro formats, the Alliance Insight format is actually a crazy fun one. Alongside of Burning Abyss being an outright fan favorite, QCR copies of Skarm, Graph, and Seer are skyrocketing in price, and I don't think they're gonna come down. I actually bit the bullet and bought the cards at about $8 each, and while I'm not 100% sure on the deck being competitive in the TCG, these are one of those cards we know we're not gonna get access to again in that particular rarity. That sticker foil rarity has actually grown on to me. I like it when it's done right. And the best thing about this situation is even if you can't afford the high rarity Yu-Gi-Oh cards, the low rarity cards are available for everyone. Now, lastly is a group of Yu-Gi-Oh cards that competitive players are looking into. Foolish Burial Goods is another one of those cards with multiple rarities, but the secret rare is the highest rarity easily. Being able to send a spell and trap card from your deck to the graveyard is really good, especially when in Orcus you can send cards like Orcus Crescendo to be able to get your combo, but it's also another card that is incredible for Lunalight because they have quite the few spell and trap cards that would prefer to be in the graveyard. Foolish Burial Goods is also one of those cards that I would expect to be reprinted in Rarity Collection 5. So it's one of those cards that I think that if you need for right now, you should 100% pick up, but then get rid of it as soon as possible. Another card that also comes to mind is the Black Goat Laughs. This card is insane. This also isn't the first time that I've talked about this card being incredible. Back in the day when it was a $10 to $15 card, it was on my list of cards you should buy before they skyrocket in price. Now it's a $30 secret rare that gives Foolish Burial Goods the versatility. Sometimes you may need Foolish Burial Goods to go into your engine to be able to assess your combos, and other times you might want to send this card from your deck to the graveyard to be able to stop your opponent from doing pretty good things. Now, like I said, Yu-Gi-Oh is an art, so only time will tell if these cards actually do go higher. But as it seems right now, players are genuinely looking into these cards, and the North American World Championship qualifier that happens in a couple of weeks may be the breaking point. So let me know what you think about those list of cards down below in the comment section, if these cards are worth picking up. And also, if you know some cards that players are starting to buy out, go ahead and let us know too. Health is wealth, information is king. And of course, big dog, if you guys want to see more amazing content, then you know what to do. Be sure to check out these videos so I can catch you on the next one.